All right, today we're going to talk about one of the most brilliant and deeply illegal financial systems ever created. It's a way to move millions of dollars all over the world, pretty much right under everyone's noses.
So think about this for a minute. You've got $1 million in drug money sitting in New York. You need that money, but you need it clean, in pesos, back home in Colombia. How do you get it there without tripwiring every single alarm in the global financial system? Well, the answer is kind of mind-blowing. You move the money by not moving it at all.
So how does an invisible system like this even work? Well, it all kicks off with what we're calling the $1 million problem. You've got two completely different people with totally opposite problems who are about to become, let's say, very unlikely business partners. Okay, so on one side, you have a trafficker with a huge pile of US cash. It's totally useless to them until it's laundered into clean pesos back in Colombia. And on the other side, you have a legit business person, an importer, who has plenty of pesos but needs US dollars to buy goods. Oh, and they'd really like to avoid all those pesky taxes and bank fees. Two people, two very different problems, and one very clever solution.
And that solution, well, it comes in the form of a middleman. Think of him as a financial matchmaker, operating in the shadows, connecting these two worlds that should never ever touch.
The whole thing is called the Black Market Peso Exchange, or BMPE. And the absolute genius of it is how it works. It's all about netting off transactions. That's the key phrase. It basically means a debt over here is canceled out by a payment over there. And the result? The giant pile of cash never has to risk crossing a single border. It's wild.
So to pull this off, you really only need three key players. First, you've got the seller of the US dollars. That's our drug trafficker. Second, you need a buyer for those dollars, our legitimate importer. And third, the guy connecting them both, the absolute linchpin of the whole operation, the peso broker.
All right, let's follow the money. This is really where you see the magic happen. We're going to walk through exactly how this whole thing goes down, step by step.
So let's use a real example. Imagine a Colombian cartel has a cool $1 million in cash from drug sales, and it's all just sitting there in New York City. The goal is simple. Get that value back to Bogota, make it clean, and make it usable.
Okay, so here's the four-step dance. Step 1, the trafficker hands over that million in cash to the peso broker's guy in the US. At the exact same time, back in Colombia, our importer gives the equivalent amount in pesos to the broker's guy there. Now for step 3, the broker in the US takes the trafficker's $1 million and uses it to pay the importer's American supplier directly. And finally, the broker in Colombia releases those clean pesos from the importer to the trafficker. And just like that, the circuit is complete.
So that's the process, but let's look at the outcome. It's what you might call the perfect illicit swap. When all the dust settles, does everyone actually get what they came for? Let's look at the scorecard here. The trafficker, they traded their dirty US cash for clean Colombian pesos. Mission accomplished. Their money is now laundered. The importer, they gave up pesos, but their US supplier got paid so they get their goods, all while dodging taxes and bank fees. And our broker? Well, they just made a very tidy commission for making a few phone calls. It really is a win-win-win for all the wrong reasons.
And this is the most important part. The whole point, the entire magic trick is right here. The dollars never ever left the United States. And the pesos, they never left Colombia. The value was transferred across borders, but the physical cash stayed exactly where it was, completely off the books and invisible to any bank or government.
So that raises a huge question, right? Why is a system like this so incredibly successful? I mean, why has it lasted for so long? The secret, it turns out, is baked right into its design.
So why does this work so well? First off, it completely bypasses the official banking system, so there are no suspicious transaction reports, no red flags. Second, and this is the really clever part, it mixes or commingles illegal drug money with perfectly legitimate business payments that makes it almost impossible to untangle. Plus, it offers a pretty sweet deal to legitimate businesses, like better exchange rates and no taxes, so they have a real incentive to play along. You can imagine what a nightmare this is for law enforcement. I mean, how do you even begin to trace value that never actually moves?
And that just leaves us with this final massive challenge. If the money never physically moves, and the entire crime is buried deep inside a transaction that looks legitimate on the surface, how do you even begin to fight a system that's literally designed to be invisible?